Howdy, my name is Nonat, and have you ever wanted an item, a power that grows in level alongside your character in Pathfinder? Well, as of Secrets of Magic, they have released a completely unique new subset of rule that grows with your character and has never been done before. What are you? Look, okay, relics came out in the Game Mastery Guide, but I've been really busy and I've been talking about the classes and I haven't had time to talk about relics, and soul seeds are basically relics, but let's talk about soul seeds! Look, soul seeds are really cool, maybe I'll make a video about relics, but the long and short of it is that relics are magic items that grow in level with your character. Soul seeds are basically the same thing and have even been classified as a different kind of relic, but soul seeds are shiny and new, so we're gonna talk about those today. So what is a soul seed? Well, try to follow along here. A soul seed is a seed of a soul. Now I know that's a lot to comprehend, but stay with me. Basically, a soul seed can be planted in the soul of another creature. This grants that creature permanent special abilities that grow with them. There are currently two types of soul seeds written into the Secrets of Magic Book of Unlimited Magic, but any other variety of relic gift, which I'll get into, can be used for a soul seed. Basically, this is something that is not tied to an item, like a normal relic, but is instead tied to the character. So, if your character has a draconic soul seed with the draconic resistance gift, you just permanently have that ability. Likewise, if they happen to have the Dragon Strike gift, they do have to use an action to activate it, but unlike trying to interact and activate an item, this does not have the interact trait and is simply done automatically via a command. This means you can't get attack of opportunity, for example, when you activate Dragon Strike from a soul seed, whereas if you had an amulet that was a draconic relic to activate Dragon Strike, you would need to interact to activate the amulet. Interestingly, spellcasters are a little bit more adept at using relics and soul seeds because soul seed DCs and attack rolls are based the same way as relics, which is based on either the character's class DC or their spell DC, and spellcasting DCs tend to advance slightly faster than class DCs. Personally, soul seeds are a really cool way to work with your players to make really unique custom characters that kind of almost get bonus feats just by leveling up, but there's also a lot of really cool ways you can use them, either as story elements, as different benefits to grant characters even outside of level ups. Additionally, they can be gained at any level. If they don't get a soul seed until level 10, way deep into the campaign, they can still get all of the different benefits of that soul seed up to level 10, and then it still continues to grow with them. What's nice about soul seeds and relics is you can really kind of give them to your players at any time, and they will never be unhappy to receive them. But there is something really fun about giving your players relics or soul seeds at low levels and then growing with them as they play through the campaign. So today we're just going to go through all of the different gifts and abilities that were released in Secrets of Magic. There's a ton in the relics, and if you want me to make a full video about the relics, leave me a comment down below, and maybe I'll go over all of the different gifts that were released in the Game Mastery Guide. But for now, we're just going to go over the two new types that were released, and that is Draconic gifts and Soul gifts. But first, commercial.
Hey, what's wrong?
I have nothing cool to wear.
Have you tried nonatones.com?
Nonat what?
Hey, try this.
Whoa! This looks amazing!
You think that's cool? Check this out.
Wow! It's all so beautiful! Where can I get more of these incredible clothes?
At nonatones.com. The only place to get official No Nat Ones merchandise with custom iconic characters like Rugo Sharpwit and Kalani. You can even get accessories like phone cases and notebooks.
Every purchase made at nonatones.com not only supports the channel, but also supports the incredible artist responsible for these amazing designs, Pataki Balaj. There's also limited edition merchandise, such as this Kalani shirt that will only be available for a short time, so get it while it lasts. Now shall we end this like every other 90s merchandise commercial?
Absolutely.
Check out nonatones.com today! I really hope you guys liked that commercial because it was really fun to film. So let's start with the dragon gifts. If you happen to have a dragon soul seed within your character, which typically means like it is a fragment of a dragon's soul that has been imbued inside of you, you can gain something like the Breath of Dragons minor gift. Which I should clarify, there are minor, major, and grand gifts. Typically, there's a little chart you can follow. You're gonna end up usually getting 5 gifts from your seed or relic, 2 minor, 2 major, and a grand. This is just sort of a guideline for balancing purposes of when the GM should unlock each new gift, but personally, I think it'd be more interesting to unlock it via story progression, so use those levels as like a guideline, 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, but if they happen to be level 7 and something big happens in the story, don't be afraid to give them their major gift early, and here's a nice little free tip from Nonat, change the power as they level up. Just because a gift says something doesn't mean you can't change it as they level up. For example, the Breath of Dragons minor gift. Now this is a minor gift that auto-scales, so it's not a great example of auto-balancing, but if they get a gift that does damage that's a little higher than they should have, lower the damage until they reach the appropriate level. It's as simple as that. But Breath of Dragons, they can start with this right at level 1. It gives them a once per day 2d6 Dragon Breath. For 2 actions, they breathe out a cone or line of energy of breath depending on the type of dragon the soul came from. Electric if it's blue, fire if it's red, acid if it's green, that kind of thing. Or is green poison? What's amazing is even at level 1, this is a 30-foot cone or 80-foot line, which is nuts. You compare this to the Ancestry feat Kobold Breath, and that's a 15-foot cone, or I think maybe a 30-foot line, 40-foot, I can't remember, but this is really strong. And it heightens incredibly well. Every 2 character levels, levels 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, the damage goes up by 2d6. So at level 3, this is a 4d6 cone. I should say, relics and soul seeds tend to be really strong, but also this is once per day, so keep that in mind. Kobold Breath, I believe, is once every 1d4 rounds, whereas this sure does double the damage, but is used way less often. Another minor gift you can start with is Draconic Resistance, and I love this because flavor-wise, this takes it in a whole different direction. Let's say you get the soul seed of a dragon inside of you. Well, sure, you can learn how to breathe dragon breath, or maybe you're vengeful against dragons. Maybe your ancestor killed a dragon and you got the soul seed implanted in you and you have that vendetta against dragons like your ancestors. Well, maybe you are more resilient against dragon attacks. With Draconic Resilience, you gain a permanent +1 status bonus to armor class against attacks from dragons and resistance to the energy type of the dragon whose soul is imparted in you. Electricity if it's blue, fire if it's red, acid if it's green, I think it's poison. The resistance is equal to half the relic's level, which is typically going to be the character level. And the final minor dragon gift is Dragon Strike. As a single action, you can surround your hands with ethereal dragon claws, which deal 1d6 slashing damage for 1 minute. It's awesome. On top of that, this is additional slashing damage. If you put Dragon Strike on a monk, you still get to deal your normal bludgeoning fist damage plus 1d6 from the ethereal dragon claws. This is, again, really powerful, especially with something like a flurry ranger or a flurry of blows monk, but it's just really cool. You're not attacking with dragon claws instead of punching. You are punching and you have dragon claws around your punch. It's just so cool. You can only do it once per hour, but it lasts for a full minute, which is usually going to be an entire encounter. And once you're level 11, you can do it every 10 minutes instead of every hour. Really, really nice feature. The only downside is the damage doesn't scale. Moving on to the major gifts, which are major because they are typically more powerful. Draconic Arrogance is hilarious. It is a super risk versus reward, not that high a risk, but for pretty decent reward ability. As a reaction, if you are about to roll a saving throw, once per day, you can laugh at the target that is making you roll the saving throw. If you critically succeed, you can demoralize them for free. If you normal succeed, you also critically succeed, which lets you demoralize. If you fail, you succeed. But if you critically fail your saving throw, you face your own hubris, and along with suffering the critical failure effects, you are also frightened too because you screwed up that bad. I love this thing. I love, win more abilities. If you're confident, go for it. You're gonna be fine. But if you screw up, have fun with the -2 to everything. Now, the other major gift, Worm's Flight, kind of insane. Once per day, for 2 actions, you grow ethereal dragon wings and you gain a 20-foot fly speed, or a fly speed equal to your speed for 10 minutes. Again, you put this on a monk, and they will have a 60-70-foot fly speed at level 10. Again, once per day, only for 10 minutes, still really good. Once you are level 17, or your soul seed is level 17, you can turn this on and off whenever you want. This grants you permanent flight at level 17, as long as you have this soul seed. That's really cool. And the grand gift for the Dragon Soul Seed is Draconic Ascendance, which lets you turn into a dragon. Once per hour as an 8th level spell. This is spectacular. This is amazing. Dragon form is just a really good spell, and being able to do that once per hour, no matter what your class is really good. Soul Seeds! And can we just talk about this art? Can we just talk about how cool this art is of this, looks like a barbarian, maybe a monk, which is taking on all of the ethereal dragon aspects. They're not using full dragon form, but they're clearly casting Dragon Strike to gain the ethereal claws and the wings, the fake ethereal wings that let them fly. It's just so cool! Alright, let's talk about soul gifts for soul seed. So if you have a soul aspect soul seed, you get the soul gifts for some soul abilities, which is the aspect of soul. Soul. Absorb Injury is a really powerful damage redirect. Once per day, as a reaction, if your ally within 30 feet of you would take damage, you take all the damage for them. And normally, this is strictly a numbers thing. You would take the basic damage, and if they were stabbed by a poison dagger, they would still get poisoned. Not with Absorb Injury. With this reaction, if they get stabbed by a poison dagger, you take the stab damage, and you make the fortitude save against that poison. So you get to completely protect them and take the entire hit for them, which is incredibly powerful. Put this on something like a barbarian that can just take damage for the wizard, and oh, the protection. Force Blast is pretty cool. It is just a flat 1d6 explosion of energy with a fortitude save. This means at worst, this is going to be dealing half damage, and this is a big and, this does not have a spell slot, this does not have a limited number of times per day, this does not have a recharge. Every turn you can Force Blast, Force Blast, Force Blast over and over and over again, even if you are not a spellcaster. Having this kind of tech, this kind of special ability on something like a fighter or a monk is so good, and it scales pretty dang well. 1d6 per 2 levels. If you're level 5, this is just a 3d6 explosion at will. Granted, 2 actions. You're not going to do much else on your turn, but what this also means, this doesn't have the interact ability. So if you're a fighter at level 1, you can bonk them on the head and then Force Blast in melee range, and they can't attack of opportunity you. Okay, that's not exactly true, but it's still pretty unlikely. Force Blast has the envision aspect of casting. This means you need to concentrate when you cast it, and some attacks of opportunity do proc on concentrate actions. But guess what? I just looked up the specific attack of opportunity monster action, which is universal unless stated otherwise, and they only trigger on manipulate and move. Concentrate is not one of those two types, so yes, 99% of the time, your soul aspect fighter can walk up, bonk them with your greatsword, and then force blast them with their brain. Soul Puppet's pretty simple. It's the last minor gift, and you can just animate dead. Like, that's just once per day, you just get to summon undead. This heightens to half your level, or half the Soul Seed's level, which is normal spell progression. So yeah, you're level 5, you can cast Animate Dead at 3rd level once per day. I've played as a GM with players with Animate Dead. It's a really good spell, guys. Animate Dead summons some really tanky stuff. Cleanse Soul, really good protection magic. Once per day, if you spend 1 minute casting this, you can make a counteract check on not just one curse, but all curses on a single target, including yourself. So if you are afflicted by one or more curses, you can attempt to counteract all of them at the same time with this spell. Again, only once per day. If you fail, you're out of luck. But on top of that, they do get a +2 status bonus to all saving throws against curses for 1 hour. So if this is the kind of curse that hurts somebody pretty frequently, that +2 status bonus can really save them. Or if you know they need to maybe touch a cursed item for any reason, maybe they need to Holy Grail this and snag it and there's a curse attached to it, you can cleanse soul before they touch it and then give them that higher chance to resist the curse. Very good ability. Spirit Blink is pretty simple. For 2 actions, you effectively cast the spell Blink. However, there are some slight differences. The main difference being that instead of Blink's flat 5 resistance to all damage, by the way, the damage resistance is equal to the Soul Seed level. Not the spell level, but if you're getting Spirit Blink at level 10, you cast Blink and for 1 minute you gain resistance 10 against all damage. And it does also give you the blink ability to blink away and appear 10 feet away by spending a single action to sustain it. I'm guessing, like the blink spell, you do need to sustain this, but it's really good. Scaling resistance at level 20, giving you 20 resistance to all damage for 1 minute, and that 10-foot flash that doesn't provoke attacks of opportunities when you blink away, it's just incredible. Soul Magic is a much less exciting grand gift than Draconic Ascendance, but it's still pretty good! It just has the exact same effect as the level 8 Divine spell, Divine Inspiration. What does this do? Well, it depends on the type of spellcaster you target it with. If the spellcaster prepares spells like a wizard or a cleric, it regains 1 level 6 or lower spell slot and can cast that day. If it spontaneously casts spells like a sorcerer, then it gains 1 6th level or lower spell slot back, which it can then use to cast any of its spells. And here's the big one. If your target has a focus pool, they refocus instantly. What does that mean? Well, normally, they get a focus point back. That's pretty good. But if they have the feat that grants them 3 focus points when they refocus, your Divine Inspiration gives them 3 focus points back. So if they use all 3 focus points in combat, you can Divine Inspiration and they get all 3 back, which can be nutty. Granted, Grand Gifts are designed to be given at 17th level, so it's understandable that this would be crazy powerful. The big thing, you could probably do some pretty cool combos with yourself. If you are a very focus point reliant class with some overpowered focus point abilities, I'm picturing this with the playtest Psychic that we looked at last week, which is very focus point reliant. You use this on them. That Psychic uses all 3 focus points in the first few rounds of combat. You Divine Inspiration, give them back, then it's the 3rd turn of combat, and they can do the thing that gives them free focus points once per turn. This could be gross. There's some really cool combos with this, and I could see this being a lot of fun if you have the ability and time to set up those combos ahead of time in combat. Otherwise, being able to look at someone and be like, take a 6th level spell slot back, still not bad. Also, it's 1 action, hello? And those are the soul seeds added in Secrets of Magic. Like I said, there's a lot more of these back in the Game Mastery Guide from last year with the whole relics section. If you want me to go over all of those, leave a comment. I would love to talk about them with you. It might not be soon because I've got a lot of content to cover, but hopefully this gets you guys excited and hopefully you guys will mess around with soul seeds and relics. If you have, let me know. I want to hear about your stories and what you've been able to do with these really cool abilities. I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Like the commercial said earlier, if you want to check out the No Nat One's website, there is a link in the description down below that'll take you there. You can check out a lot of cool stuff, check out our merchandise, check out my Twitter. There's links to everything down there, including the Discord, which is a lot of fun. I don't have much time to spend there, but it's a really cool community. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, No Nat Ones.